I've been trying to do some mock drafts, and I know the Niners are going to take a wide receiver and running back early. So I'm finally delving into the skill position players. And as soon as I got to Michael Carter from North Carolina, I just fell in love with that guy. I love watching Michael Carter's highlights, all of his film. He's the most fun player to watch. I don't know who I would compare him to. He kind of reminds me of like Jerick McKinnon, except like the good version, the version that Kyle Shanahan wanted. I think this guy is going to be fantastic. And it looks like I watched him for 2 minutes and I'm like, this is the guy that Kyle Shanahan has been looking for 3-4 years. He wants a committee of running backs that do different things. He's got the fastest running back in the league in Raheem Mostert. He's got the tough guy between the tackles, Jeff Wilson Jr. He wants the receiver, the guy who's one of the best route runners on the team, some of the best hand-eye coordination on the team, and a real threat out of the backfield, the way that Alvin Kamara is. And that's not Raheem Mostert or Jeff Wilson Jr. I mean, they're good receivers, but not great receivers. This guy's a great receiver. He's also a great running back. He averaged 8 yards a carry. I'm out of town right now. I'm in an undisclosed location. Can't tell you where, but you might think that I'm not. And, it's first night in a new place. It's always weird, kind of tough going back to sleep. Woke up this morning. First thing did, Michael Carter highlights. What's up, Michael Carter? Oh, look at that stop-start quickness. Look at that acceleration. Look at those hands. Look at that. made me feel secure. Made me feel, it was like having a nice blankie. You know what I mean? Michael Carter highlights. He's a lot of fun. I think the Niners are going to get him somehow. Here's why. The way they use him at North Carolina, he's like a deep threat out of the backfield. He'll run those like up the sideline, the wheel route, or the seam up the middle of the field, and they'll throw to him, and he'll make diving catches. I know the Niners have been trying to incorporate that into their offense since last year. They would try that all the time in training camp and never connect, ever, because they didn't really have the running backs for it. Jerick McKinnon didn't have the juice. They tried to use him that way in training camp. And it's a throw that Jimmy Garoppolo can make. And if it's Mac Jones, the next quarterback, it's a throw he can make. It's a deep throw, but it's not a far throw. It's a running back up the sideline or up the seam. You let go of the ball pretty quickly. It's a manageable shot play for Jimmy Garoppolo. Michael Carter Jr. can do it. Is his last name Jr.? No. I just made that up. His name is Michael Carter. Anyway, check him out. I love him. Devin says, was the Jordan Reed experiment a failure, or do you think he will come back? We barely saw both tight ends on the field together. Yes, I think the Jordan Reed experiment was a failure. He, to me, when he was on the field, looked like a guy who was protecting himself. Nothing wrong with that, considering he's had about 8 concussions, but he ran the wrong routes consistently. He was frequently ending up in the same location as some other receiver. And then if the ball wasn't delivered perfectly, he was like jumping up and down, stamping his feet, throwing his helmet, like he was Terrell Owens or something. Like he was some Hall of Fame wide receiver who was getting shown up by his quarterback. Like, dude, you should have retired 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe the Niners backup quarterbacks don't have any business in the league. You definitely don't have any business in the league either. Go away. I always felt like the Niners brought him in as a personal favor to Trent Williams. You ever notice that Kyle Shanahan has signed like every single player who was on Washington with him when he left in 2013? Jordan Reed was one of them. Trent Williams was one of them. Like, enough, man. These guys are all my age. No. So that was an abysmal failure. And it wasted a year of Ross Dwelly's development. He never should have been sharing time with that old stiff. He should have been playing. Ross Dwelly's young. Jordan Reed is not. So that was a wasted opportunity. Although I think it does show that the Niners are trying to get a playmaker at that number 2 tight end spot. Ross Dwelly isn't exactly that yet. I think it indicates that the Niners are definitely drafting tight end Kyle Pitts with the 3rd pick. I mean, what else? How else could you read into that? I can't find any other interpretation, really. Gold Blood 21 says Kyle wants to be cool, and picking Mac will be the least cool thing he could do. If Mac doesn't look like Herbert, all hell will be upon him. You know what? Kyle could take Justin Fields to look cool. And then if Justin Fields isn't good, all the people who were Justin Fields fans, all the fans that told Kyle Shanahan to draft Justin Fields will turn on him. They'll delete their tweets. They'll say, you know what? I wasn't a GM. Kyle needs to get that right. What's important for Kyle is to get this right. He's not going to get fired on draft night. If he takes Mac Jones, it's not like Jed York's going to fire him. If Mac Jones has a good career and Justin Fields doesn't, then Kyle Shanahan really will be a legend because no one saw that coming. So he just needs to get it right. He doesn't have to make fans happy on draft night. That's not the right way to build your team.